A pleasant morning to you all. My name is Nisarga, Assistant Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, St. Philomena's College, Mysuru. Today, we are celebrating National Voters Day. The theme of this year's National Voters Day is making our voters empowered, vigilant, safe and informed. It envisages active and participative voters during elections. It also focuses on Election Commission's commitment towards conducting elections safely during the COVID-19 pandemic. The National Voters Day is celebrated on January 25th every year since 2011 all across the country to mark the foundation day of Election Commission of India, that is 25th January 1950. The main purpose of this National Voters Day celebration is to encourage, facilitate and maximize enrollment, especially for the new voters. Dedicated to the voters of the country, the day is utilized to spread awareness among voters and for promoting informed participation in the electoral process. Now I request Dr. Prakash Aralappa, Assistant Professor, HOD, Department of History, St. Philomena's College, Mysuru, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning. I deem it as my privilege to be a part of today's event. All great deeds are initiated by noble-hearted souls, because of whom we are enjoying a peaceful life. Indeed, it's my honor to welcome today's chief guest, M.T. Shivkumar, a senior journalist, winner of the prestigious Karnataka Media Academy Award and a well-known face in the world of media. On behalf of the management, I welcome you, sir. Reverend Father Dr. Bernard Prakash Barnis always cooperated to all the endeavors of our college, because of whose support today's event has become a reality. I sincerely welcome you, dear Father. Dr. Ruth Shantakumari, our beloved principal, we appreciate your zealous encouragement for today's event. On behalf of the management, I wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am. I also welcome administrative, teaching and non-teaching staff and our beloved students for today's event. Once again, welcome to all.
I now request today's chief guest, Shri M.T. Shivkumar, to kindly address us. Over to you, sir.
Hello everyone. I thank the departments concerned, including history, political science, and journalism and mass communication of St. Philomena's College of Mysuru for asking me to address you on the occasion of National Voters Day. I also thank the college for selecting the topic, Importance of Voting, as it is the need of the hour. The attendees as well organizers are mature enough to think wisely before selecting their representatives. How important is your vote? Why should you exercise your franchise? And how wise you should be before casting your vote. Everyone knows that our constitution has given rights to every Indian citizen who is of sound mind, a voting right. Citizens above the age of 18, irrespective of caste, color, creed, religion or economic status, have the power to elect their representatives at governing bodies from village level to national level. While the lower level governing body is Grama Panchayat in the country, the Lok Sabha stands at the top. There are many other governing bodies between these two. They are Jilla Panchayat and Taluk Panchayat of the Panchayat Raj institutions, urban level bodies such as Brihat Nagar Mahanagara Palike, City Corporation, City Municipal Council, Town Municipal Council and Town Panchayat, and upper and lower houses at the state assemblies. They are Vidhana Sabha and Vidhana Parishad. Have the voters realized the significance of the active participation in the electoral process in our country? Sadly, we can say no. In the last 20 years, as a journalist when associated with the national and state dailies including The Hindu, Prajavani and Deccan Herald Group, The New Indian Express, Bangalore Mirror and Udayvani, I have covered over 20 major elections. My common observations during my journalistic career was voters have been taking the election process for the granted. Although the Constitution has given the right to elect the representative for the governing bodies to make the change in the democratic setup as well for the development of the region, all the eligible are not showing interest to cast their votes. The trend is same since the beginning of the general elections in the country. None of the general elections held here since 1951 have witnessed cent percent voting, in spite of spending a huge sum on attempts to create awareness on the importance of the voting. The failure of the voters in realizing the importance of voting has been fueling the increase in electoral malpractices since the first general elections held in 1951. Why we should vote? In the democratic setup, voting is a constitutional right that every citizen has privilege to have. The elections help the people to choose their governing bodies. The governing bodies are of the people, by the people and for the people. Each and every eligible citizen should vote for the comprehensive development of their region, to strengthen the democracy and, most importantly, to carefully choose the person who could uphold the democratic values as their representative. According to the political thinkers and the common observations, the political parties in our country are not realizing the value of the election system. Almost all the political parties rely on the caste, religion and financial strength of the candidate to attract the vote bank, rather than his or her potential before fielding themselves in the poll battlegrounds. The statistics obtained from the Election Commission of India say that 43% of the current Lok Sabha members have criminal charges against them. As many as 233 current MPs have criminal charges such as rape, molestation and other crime against women, and also murder, attempt to murder, culpable homicide, house trespass, robbery, criminal intimidation and hate speech. Pragya Singh Thakur of the Bharatiya Janata Party is facing the terrorism charges in connection with the 2008 Malegaon blasts. Of the 233 MPs, as many as 116 are from the ruling BJP, with one or more criminal charges. Among the rest, 29 MPs are from the Congress, 13 are from the JDU, 10 from the DMK and 9 from the TMC. The number of MPs facing criminal charges in 2014 was 185 and in 2009 were 162. The state legislative houses across the country also have members with criminal charges. Dear all, can a person facing heinous criminal charges such as rape, murder and riots respond to the people's problems effectively? Or can he or she easily be accessible for the society or develop the constituency? Can a voter easily approach such MPs or MLAs seeking measures for the improvement of their constituency? I strongly feel only the person with social responsibilities will improve the quality of governance and also quality of the administration. Most importantly, he or she can effectively use the taxpayers' money for providing the benefits of the social schemes, social security benefits and other government schemes to the needy, and also they can effectively improve the infrastructure facilities in their region, besides solving the socio-economic problems. The people should increase their knowledge pertaining to the politics and wisely elect their representatives. They can cast only one vote, which can play an important role in strengthening the democracy and making considerable changes in the society. Instead of going by the rosy pictures or promises published in the manifesto, the voters must carefully analyze and elect their members based on his or her political stability and keenness in developing the region. Because the fulfillment of the promises published in the manifestos can provide basic infrastructure, elevate the poverty, and effectively help in the comprehensive development of the region. Dear all, the Constitution of our country provides us with the voting right. Participating in elections is one of the key freedoms of your life. Instead of sitting and relaxing on the voting day, it's your duty to visit the polling stations to cast votes. Voting is our constitutional right. Voting means standing up for ourselves. Our elders had struggled a lot to win freedom for us. It's our duty to cast the vote and elect the person who could care for the progress of the nation. Dear youngsters, the greater responsibility of building a strong nation lies on your shoulders. Set your eyes on the future. Cast your votes without fail during elections. Educate your family members, friends, neighbors, and dear ones about the importance of voting and make your voice heard at parliamentary and legislative houses. Thank you.
I request our beloved Director, Reverend Father Dr. Bernard Prakash Barnis, to administer the voters' pledge to the staff and students. Meantime, I request the staff and students to stand up and raise their hand to receive the voters' pledge.
Start. We, the citizens of India, having abiding faith in democracy, hereby pledge to uphold the democratic traditions of our country and the dignity of free, fair, and peaceful elections, and to vote in every election fearlessly and without being influenced by consideration of religion, race, caste, community, language, or any inducement.
Now we have come to the end of the program. I request Mr. Anand C., HOD, Department of Political Science, St. Philomena's College, Mysuru, to render vote of thanks.
I hope that all of you by this time might have realized the significance of voting. As the saying goes, bad officials are elected by good citizens who do not vote. Let us all make a personal commitment, a commitment to the nation that no matter whatever may happen, that we will vote. On this occasion, I deem it as my privilege and honor to thank all those people who are responsible for today's event. First of all, I would like to thank Shri K.T. Shivakumar, a senior journalist, for accepting our invitation and supporting for today's cause. We look forward to your support in our future endeavors. On behalf of our management, I sincerely thank you, sir. Reverend Father Dr. Bernard Prakash Barnis, our beloved rector, our source of support and guidance, has always been with us in all our academic activities as a continuous source of energy and guidance. On behalf of all of us, I wholeheartedly thank you, Father. I also thank Dr. Ruth Shantakumari, our beloved principal, for her constant guidance and motivation. I sincerely thank you, ma'am. I also thank the administrative, teaching, non-teaching, technical staff, and our beloved students for your participation and support. Thank you, one and all. To conclude, in the words of John F. Kennedy, let us ask not what the country has done, let us ask what we can do for our country. Thank you.